Hey everybody, Nick Espinosa, your chief security fanatic here. In technology news, in history news, and everything else, we need to protect the Internet Archive. Now, if you didn't know, and let me get personal here for a second, I'm actually a trained historian. And to me, the preservation of history is beyond important to understand who we were, who we are, and who we're eventually going to become. The forces of history often repeat themselves, and while we as a species learn for a little while, we tend to fall back into old patterns. Governments come and go, but record preservation should be forever. And if we're doing it right, and basically I think some of the recent events prove that we essentially, if we are doing it right, we need the Internet Archive and record preservation now more than ever. And I don't like to get political. I have a saying in my field in cybersecurity that basically cybersecurity is agnostic to politics, but we're not immune from it. I like to stick with the facts. And so let's look at the facts that essentially are making me create this segment. And Ashley Bellinger of Ars Technica had a really good write-up on this. And so let's talk about this, because when thousands of pages started disappearing from the CDC, that's the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, their website last week, public health researchers quickly moved to essentially archive deleted public health data. And so soon, researchers discovered that the Internet Archive offers one of the most effective ways to both preserve online data, but also track changes on governments' websites. For decades, Internet Archive crawlers have collected snapshots of the public internet, making it easier to compare current versions, basically to historic versions of those websites. I went and looked at the first website for my first business back, from the late 90s, and man, internet development definitely has changed. Now, the Internet Archive also allows users to upload digital materials to further expand their archive. So both aspects of the archive immediately proved useful to researchers assessing how much data the public risked losing during this major purge that happened last week. And if you recall, President Trump signed an executive order basically stopping a lot of the CDC's work on all this kind of stuff. I'm not getting into this in the sense that, I don't really get into all the culture war stuff and all that. I'm looking at this purely from a history and a record preservation, issue. You might love or hate the guy, the president, et cetera, et cetera. That's not my point here. Now, part of a small group of researchers who managed to download the entire CDC website within days is somebody named Angela Rasmussen. She's a virologist, and she helped create a public resource that combines CDC website information with the CDC's deleted data sets. So those data sets, many of which were previously in public domain for years, were then uploaded to the Internet Archive by an anonymous user. She who exists is that user on January 31st. Moving forward, Rasmussen told Ars that Internet Archive will basically likely remain the go-to tool for researchers attempting to closely monitor for any expected changes to public data. In other words, as changes are being made to, let's say, the United States government or any government around the world or any website, the Internet Archive becomes super important for that preservation of history, the preservation of changes. Basically, it keeps everybody honest. Now, the Internet Archive, quote unquote, continuously updates their archives, according to Rasmussen, which, yes, that's what they do. And so it makes it a, quote, good mechanism for tracking modifications to these websites that haven't been made yet. And so there you are. The whole point of this here is to preserve the record. And I think that as you look through history, what we know of, let's say in various languages, whether it's the hieroglyphics of Egypt or the Rosetta Stone that started the creation of translations that we later improved on, we need a record of history. Whether it's a system of government, whether it's simple research, whether it's understanding the compendium of who we are, this is what needs to be preserved. And I think that these efforts are so unbelievably important. So you can agree with the president for purging a lot of stuff. You can disagree with him. All I'm saying is we need to preserve a record because, quite frankly, posterity demands it, our history demands it, and our future does too. And please like, share, follow me here on Facebook and Twitter at NickAESP, where hopefully at some point I'll be part of the historical record like you. And please feel free to subscribe at YouTube as well. And as always, stay safe, stay online, and please attempt to stay private and informed. Take care.